Welcome back to SA SimFlight. Today we're going to be flying from Botswana International Airport, and we're going to fly all the way down to Durban to Kinshasa International Airport. It's not going to be a long flight, but it should be an interesting one. Today we're going to be flying the Flybywire A320 Neo, and we're going to be using the Mango livery. Okay, we're back now in the Microsoft main screen. So we're going to go to the world map. Okay, I've already set the plane up. I'm using the Flybywire A320 Neo. I'm using the Mango livery. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be flying from, as we said in the opening, we're going to be flying from Gaborone down to Durban. So we're going to be going from Botswana. We're going to be coming down past sort of Johannesburg area, and then we're going to come down to Durban, and we're going to fly into Kinshasa. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be using SimBrief, and I'm also going to be running AIG traffic controller, so we'll show you that as well. And let's start setting this up. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go into where Gaborone is over here. And when you zoom in, here's the airport. So we're going to click on the airport. We're going to say set as departure. And our arrival airport is going to be this one over here, Kinshasa. And we're going to be flying at 39,000 feet. So we're going to be choosing a high altitude airway, okay, which it's already set up for us. We're going to check very quickly our altitude. It is already set up at 39,000 feet, so that's perfect. And now let's set up a few other things. So what we want to do is we want to pick, at Gaborone, we want to pick exactly where we're going to be leaving from. Now the problem that we've got here is if I spawn it in at the parking gate, number 25, and I've done this in a few tests already, what happens is the jetway actually goes through the fuselage, through the side, because instead of the plane sitting this way to the gate, it sits this way to the gate. And for some reason, the gate, the way it's set up, the gate actually goes through the cockpit. So you can't actually see anything because the gate is actually in the way of your cockpit. So we can't use that spawning in area. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this one over here. So that is going to be our departure. Okay, so we're going to be going from the gate, and then we're going to be going out. Now, according to SimBrief, what we're going to do is let's have a quick look. Let me bring you into SimBrief so you can see SimBrief. So if I bring it in very quickly, okay, there's SimBrief for us. If you look at SimBrief, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be departing runway 8, and we're going to be coming out direct to the Neski. So that's what we're mainly interested in. Then coming in, we're going to be coming in at the 24, runway 24, and we're going to be coming in on this approach here. So those are the two things that we need to know. We also need to know that the cost index is going to be 60. We already know what our flight altitude is going to be, which is 39,000. And we need to know what our trip wind is going to be, because that could affect fuel. And according to this, it's going to be a tailwind of 49. So that's quite interesting. So let's go back into the sim. And what we're going to do here is our departing. If you remember, we're going to be departing on the nest. And it's going to be the 8. So we're going to use that one. Okay, to come in for arrivals, we want to come in and we want to arrive on the 24. And what we want to do is we don't want this one, because then we're going to be coming in and flying around and doing loops and circuits. So we want to actually come in on, let's just make sure we're on the right one, that one. This one, we're going to come flying in. It's going to bring us around this way, and we're going to have a straight flight straight in. So we're going to come around like this, and we're going to come straight in, which is ideal. That's the approach that we want. So that looks good. Everything is set. We are ready to go. So let's say fly. And while we're waiting for that to load in, I'm going to show you traffic. So I'm going to load you into our traffic. Okay. So this is the traffic over here. So this is Gaborone Airport. So what will happen here is we're going to be spawning in about here where my cursor is, around there. There we are there. That's us, where that little red cross is. Okay. So we're going to be spawning in there. We're going to be then taxiing down this runway, taxiway here, and we're going to come onto the runway over here, and we're going to take off in this direction. And then what will happen is we're going to be coming out, we're going to be doing a bit of a loop round, and then we're going to come across and straight down this way. Okay. This is basically set up. If I go to settings, it's automatically going to inject traffic, and I've got it on high, and it does that automatically. So as soon as you're loading into your airport, the way I've set it up, it'll do it for you. So you don't really have to do anything. So what we're going to do is let's go back in. Here we are, and you can see there is a plane. Air Botswana has spawned in over there. Unfortunately, we're going to have planes all around us. So our co-pilot's going to kick in now. Or at least once I put the batteries on. Let's have a quick look outside. You'll see there how that one is spawned in. Now that is just hitting the roof there. If it was on our plane, it would actually come right through the cockpit. So that's why I can't spawn in over there. So we've got a bit of a storm over that side behind us. Hopefully it stays there. Okay, let's get back in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up. We're going to turn the batteries on. So it's going to be battery 1, battery 2.
Ground Sassiv 7907.
That's our co-pilot.
IFR clearance to Foxtrot Alpha Lima Echo.
I'm going to move this out the way.
7907 is cleared to Foxtrot Alpha Lima Echo Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 08 climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
That's quite high.
Departure frequency is 126.1 squawk 4475.
Okay, so we let our co-pilot answer, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to turn.
Takeoff runway 08 climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Departure on 126.1.
We're going to turn that off now. And we'll turn her back on just as we're about to taxi, because otherwise they make you taxi too quickly. Okay, I'm going to bring in our pushback. Not that it'll work, because most of the problems that we've got now is at this particular airport, if you don't spawn in at the gate, nothing else seems to work. So you can't seem to get catering. Your doors will open, but nothing will happen. Baggage doesn't happen. Power doesn't happen. So we can call power, and you'll see I've got it all pre-set up. So in theory, it should work. If we go outside, you'll see that there's no power. Nothing will come. We can ask for catering. Nothing will come. We can ask for baggage. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the main power on. We're going to go to the top up here. We're going to align the navs. 1, 2, 3. Working down this panel, I'm going to turn on the crew oxygen. And I'm quite happy with that. And coming across here, we're going to put on our strobe. And I'm going to put our emergency lighting on, which is this one over here. If I zoom in, it's that one. And it's at the moment, I don't know what they've done with the way the mouse controls work. If you don't get, sometimes you've got to be a little bit off it to actually get it to work. So not quite sure why, but we'll set all that up. I'm going to set up the master for the APU, and down here we're just waiting for it to open. When that opens, we can start it. I'm going to do the lighting now. Unfortunately, the lighting takes a little while. There's a lot of lights to turn on. So let's go through this quickly. And for those of you who haven't done a cold and dark in the Airbus 320 fly-by-wire, you'll know that you or you won't know how many lights and things you have to turn on. So we're just going to go through it. This is going to be for dash lights up here. I'm going to go across to this one over here. This will brighten up the displays. There you go. Across to this side, which is our co-pilot or first officer. I'm just going to brighten his up a little bit. I know some of the streamers don't like doing that because they say it hits the frame rate. I like to see it. Our frame rate, I can't get much better anyway, so for me it doesn't seem to make a massive hit. Okay, I'm turning the central console lights on now. That's these ones over here. You'll see that the flap has opened. We'll turn that on in a minute. I'm just coming down to the central console. I just want to turn this up a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to move up to the top, and I'm just going to turn on there. Okay. So from here, there's a couple of things we can do. We can go across to our tablet, and by just clicking on the tablet, it'll turn it on. Once that's on, I can import my sim brief into here. There's my sim brief there. It's imported. Okay. And I'm going to come now down to our MCDU, and let's import our flight plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to ATSU over here. We're going to go to menu. I'm going to go to insert up here, and because I've got a sim brief plan, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to click on that, and it's brought in my flight plan over here. Quite happy with that. And then I'm going to go down to weights and balances, this one over here, and I'm going to request and send. Okay. And then this is my block fuels, so I'm going to load that in. I'm now going to go to page 2. You'll see up here there's a second page. So to do that, I'm going to come down to the arrows. I'm going to click on the arrow. And this is actually for my passengers and everything and my payload. So I'm going to send a request. You see it turns red and changes. So we've got 174 passengers. Okay, and it breaks it down for you. I'm going to say start boarding. There you go, and you'll see they'll start coming in. Okay. From here, I'm going to go up to the here. I'm going to go to init, the init page. This is our flight number. I'm going to just put in 797, and I'm going to click next to it, add that in. Cost index, if you remember from the sim brief, is 60. So all I have to do is type in 60, enter it into there, and then our cruise altitude was 39,000. So I'm just going to put 39,000. I'm going to enter. Now what's different there is on our sim brief here it's saying it's minus 52. On sim brief it said it was going to be minus 56, so there's a little bit of a discrepancy there, but nothing too major. Okay, we can go to the second page over here, and this we just need to click here, and you'll see at the bottom here it's already filled it all in for us. We just click it again. So the scratch pad had it. By clicking on there, it puts it in. Our block fuel, I'm just going to click here. It's going to be a confirm of our block fuel. That's in. And trip wind, that was the tailwind. Remember, so it was T49. So we had a tailwind of 49. So we're going to put that in. We're going to go T49 over here. And we're going to enter that into our wind. And you'll see it'll pop it in there. Now the advantage of doing that is it's going to help us with our V speeds and also how much burn of fuel we're going to have, and it should also speed the flight up. Okay, It's moving back. Everything is now set. We're going to come over here to the perf page, and this is where our V1 and VR and V2 speeds are. Now if I've tried to install these now by pressing on them, you'll see that nothing comes up. It says format error. There's nothing there. So rather than typing them in for yourself, let's just clear that message. Okay, come over here to where it says flaps, and what we're going to do is we're going to say flaps 1. So down in my scratch pad I've got 1, and I'm going to enter that in. As soon as I've got this in, it can now calculate your takeoff speeds. So what we're going to do now is, now if I press V1, you'll see it gives me 133. I can add them. Again, 134, add it, 139. Okay, I thought maybe 137, but 139 is fine. That's good. Okay, so we've got all that entered in there now. Now I'm going to go through to the flight plan. On the flight plan, we've got no discontinuities, which is brilliant. Means everything is in correctly. We're going to go up here. This is our airport that we're leaving on runway 8. I just want to check by clicking on it. I can go to our departure, and we can have a look, and everything is actually set up. So I'm quite happy with that. We can return. We come down to the bottom here. This is our destination. We can have a look at our arrivals. We could also do this in flight, but I must admit I do like to have a look and see what our arrivals are over here. And I just want to go to here where the stars are and everything else. Now what we want is we want this one here, AP MAT 1B. So I want to actually click on that. You'll see that it's added it there. I'm going to insert it. And now we've got our whole transition and everything set up there. So I'm happy. We can go to return, and we're back in our flight plan. So from that, we're virtually ready to get going. What we can also do, if you want, we can go back into the back into the computer here. We can come over here, and remember we were boarding passengers on our wait, so we can have a quick look. So boarding is all done. That's brilliant. So we can come out. Over here, we can come over here, and we can actually ask for the METAR for the 2 airports. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send it. It's queued. Send. So what will happen? Up here now, we'll get a message just now saying company message, and that will give us the weather. But before we do that, I wanted to show you something else. You'll see over here we've got a green dotted line. That's our flight plan set up, which is great. But at the moment, it doesn't understand what we need. So what we're going to do is, if you remember from the ATC when we contacted ground, they told us what our altitude was going to be, what we have to climb to, which was quite high. It was 17,000. So I'm going to change this now to 17,000. Which is quite high. Normally they do about 10,000. Okay, so we're going to use that at 17. And over here you'll see our heading isn't set yet for the computer. And you'll see on this side, you can see the green dotted line. If I set our heading into the computer, which is into the flight director, look what happens. The line becomes solid green. Okay, so that it knows. Our QNH, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to press the B button on the keyboard, and it automatically syncs it into what it should be. And it's set it up here as well automatically for us, so we don't have to worry anything there. Down here, remember I said about company message? It's just popped in there saying company message. So if we go back down here, and we go to where it says receive message, and we click on that, it's going to tell us we've got a METAR message. We can click on there. There is our METAR. So if I press print, and this is actually quite cool. That's our flight plan. If I come over here, it's starting to print out our weather report on the little printer. What you do is you click on it, a little handle will appear. If you click on it, it removes it, and it puts it over here in this area here, and it'll fill it all in so you can actually just glance at it and see your information here. Really good. Something else that I'm not sure if everybody has seen, I haven't seen any of the other streamers do it. I'm going to lock the cabin here. Now this little button here I found quite interesting. If you press on it, it actually brings up the video of the door to the cockpit. That's quite cool. So if I press it again, you'll see that it turns off and goes back to the display over here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're ready to go, we're ready for pushback, everything is sorted out. So first thing I'm going to do is come up here, I'm going to turn on my lights. Okay. I'm going to turn on all my fuel pumps. So it's going to get in the way, let's go here. Fuel pumps, I'm going to turn them all on. Done. And I'm also going to turn on my AP bleed, which is this one. Okay. And we're ready for pushback. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say start pushback. Okay. Parking brake, I'm going to take off. And I'm going to say reverse. I'm just going to slow the tag down a little bit. Okay. While that's reversing, I'm going to come over here. Turn on the engines, okay, and I'm going to start engine 1. I'm going to come over here, I just want to get that in one position there. Turn on a couple of things here. Okay. So we should be coming out. There's a plane in the way. Seems to be a lot of fun there. You can see the engine now starting to spool up. Look at those clouds. Looks like we might have a big storm. There you are, you can hear it spooling. I'm going to turn the plane now, I'm going to with the tug. I'm afraid we're going right over that other plane. Takes away a bit of the realism, but anyway. I do like this little pushback helper. I think it's really good. And in most airports you'll get your everything on there with your options. You'll get the voices, you'll get the tug operator talking to you, telling you when to release the parking brake, things like that. You can also use your rudder pedals to move this. I just like to use the mouse because I can click on it once. That goes where I want it. I will start the second engine now. Okay, I'm happy with that. Hold. We'll stop pushback. It'll ask us to put the parking brake. Parking brake is set. We won't need to use this again, so I can close it. Let's go back into the aircraft. And I'm going to start engine 2. While engine 2 is spooling up, I'm going to come up to our lights and I'm going to get ready for taxi. Once the other engine's spooled up, we can turn off the APU. Outside. Let's see the other one starting to spool up. My Our lights have come on ready for taxi. So it's almost ready. Okay, I'm going to turn my auto brake on so long. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to set my spoilers, and I'm going to make my flaps 1. So if we go to 1 and I go outside, okay, you can see them coming down there. I don't know if it's... Okay, I'm going to make it go to flaps 2 so you can see it. Look at the animation on that. And even if I pull my air brakes up, look at the animation. Beautiful. So we're going to go back to flaps 1. Okay, let's go back in. So at the moment we've got it set at flaps 1. We've got, I have to just arm those again. So we're on flaps 1. We can put the engine switch to normal over here. Okay, I think we're pretty much ready to go. Everything looks right. So what we can do now is we can bring in our co-pilot again.
Ground SASM 7907 with Echo ready to taxi IFR.
And she'll deal with control, so it's...
And hold short of runway 08 by taxiway Charlie Bravo. Contact tower on 118 decimal tree when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 08 via taxiway Charlie Bravo, SASM 7907.
Right, let's get moving. So we're going to turn the brake off. And we're going to give a little bit of power to the engines. And in fact, there we're starting to move, but I just want to come up here. We can actually turn that off. And our APU here. Can also come off like that. And here we're moving. Okay. And we're getting ready now. We're going to be turning here. My rudder pedals still give me a little bit of problems. I still can't get them as sensitive as I'd like them since update 7. I've got them to work a little bit better, but they're still a little bit they're not as smooth as I'd like them. Can't seem to get the sensitivity right. So here we go. We're going to go onto the taxiway. And then we're going to go all the way down. Look at the reflections down on the screens there. We're going to go all the way down now to the end. Try and get a bit of a nice screenshot here outside. So we're going to work our way down. So while we're doing that, we can do a couple of checks. I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to press this button over here, and it clears it there for me. And we can come up and we can tell the cabin to get ready.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
So if they can get ready. So once we get to the end here, we'll stop just before entering the runway, get our clearance, and just do our final takeoff prep. But because there isn't two of us, I've already tried to do as much of it as I can before we get there. So really it'll only be turning on the radar and changing lights settings. Everything else I think I've got ready to go. All the brakes are set, spoilers are set, flaps are set. should be okay. I say my rudder pedals are still giving me a little bit of issues. They tend to wander a little bit. And we might get a little bit of that cloud by the looks of it. Quite a bit of cloud over that side, so it'll be interesting. Just watching my speed, it tends to climb up quite a bit. It's at 20, we're still okay. Sometimes I've noticed it can shoot up to as high as 30, and then you're doing a lot of braking, which is not good. Okay, we're coming up to the end now. Everything is set, cabin is ready. Altitude of 17,000 is set. We'll slow it down a little bit now because we're doing maybe 22 there. We're down to 10, so we should be able to turn. Normally turn between 10 and 14, I think. We're at 11, so we should be fine. Again, you can see as soon as I start to turn, it goes very jerky. Here we are coming to the hold position, and then look at our clearances. Very jerky when you turn it. Okay, we're on hold, so now our co-pilot should...
7907 ready for IFR departure runway 08. Saturn 7907 altimeter tree 0.00 and 046 at 14. Cleared for takeoff runway 08. Cleared for takeoff runway 08 Sasu 7907.
Okay, nothing to our left. Nothing to our right except some storm clouds. Here we go. I'm going to have to give it a little bit of power because there's a bit of a slope here. Tends to pull a little bit to the right, so I'm going to keep it slightly to the left like that. Okay, so now we're ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the power. I'm going to push down on the joystick forward, so that we're putting the nose down a little bit, and that I'll bring up at around 100, and then we'll. So I'm going to bring the power up, make sure our engines are steady. And let's go full toga. So now let the stick come back to its normal position. Getting close to our VR, and rotate. There we go, nice rotation. Positive climb, gear up. Very nice. Very nice.
Saturn 7907, contact Gaborone Center on 126.1. Good day.
ask us to go to climb mode in a minute.
Gaborone Center SASM 7907 is passing 4,600 feet, climbing 17,000 feet.
It's looking amazing.
7907 Gaborone Center altimeter 30.00, continue to D077 and as planned.
Look at that. That just looks so amazing. Okay, we're going to go to climb levers. We're going to go down here. We're going to go to climb. Yeah. I'm going to make sure that my speed brakes are off. Put my autopilot on and bring my flaps up. Flaps are up, autopilot is on. There we go, slowing climb, starting to turn. It's looking good, looking good. Across the wing, look at the reflections on there. And those clouds, wow. We knew we were going to hit a little bit of a storm, but hopefully it shouldn't bump us around too much. There we go, starting to straighten out. Still on our climb. Go through to the map, you'll see where we are. We've turned, that little cross is us, and we're going to do our little turn, and we're going to come down here, and then we're going to cut across. So let's zoom out a little bit. There's our turn. On this side, I'm going to actually zoom out a little bit more. Go to standard. Lights will come off.
Good day. 118.5 SASM 7907. Johannesburg Center SASM 7907 is at 11,400 feet, climbing 17,000 feet. SASM 7907 Johannesburg Center altimeter 30.00, continue as planned.
Doesn't really matter because we're on standard. Here comes our next turn. So that's showing you from that side. Let's have a look from the other side. Look at that. Love the way it turns. That heat haze and everything else. The reflections, just beautiful. Straightening out again. So we're coming up to 15,000 feet. She is climbing beautifully. Look at the reflections. Wow. Look at the water down there and the clouds and the sun. It was beautiful.
Climb and maintain flight level 270 SASM 7907. Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 230 knots. Expect ILS X-ray runway 08 approach via Bondi transition. Cleared to Bondi Botswana 204.
Okay, we're climbing to 27,000. So on the map, you can see there's another plane probably just below us. So we're going to be flying down this way, in this direction. So you'll see the little red cross is actually where we are. So it tends to follow that through. Go back in and look at what's happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start service. Make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle.
Okay, so you can see we're up to about 24,900 feet. We seem to be stable at around about 250. So everything's looking good. 390.
Climb and maintain flight level 390, SAS 7907.
There we go, it's set for 390. Once we get to our cruising altitude, I'll pause. You don't need to be sitting there all the way through unless something happens, then I'll bring you back in. Otherwise, after that we'll look at once we're coming in to descend and ready for our landing. So I won't make you sit here for the next 45 minutes just at cruise. We'll have a few nice shots from outside, maybe some wing shots, and then we'll pause it. But we'll wait till we get to 39,000. Once we're at 39,000, then I'll bring you back a bit later. It does seem to be flying extremely well. Coming up to 30,000 feet. Everything is trimmed out, set up, and then it's set up perfectly. It's flying beautifully. 32,200 feet. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go into the map of the traffic. I'm going to go in there and just show you something. So what you'll see is we're sitting just almost near Rustenburg there, coming in. We're going to be flying through. You can see now the planes are starting to populate a bit more closer to the Johannesburg area, where there's obviously a lot more traffic. So AIG traffic controller is actually putting more planes in the area, and we're going to be flying almost straight through in this direction, going down towards Durban. So I think that's going to be should be quite a steady flight, because we're flying quite high. We're going to be at probably nearly 38,000 feet by the time we get over here, so there shouldn't be any problems with any traffic or anything coming in. Just look at the reflections on the water and with the sun just coming through the cockpit there. Just beautiful. Love the shadows and the... I wonder if that camera works while we're in flight. Let's have a look. Okay, sort of zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yes, it does. The camera does work. So you can see if there's anyone coming to the galley door. But as you can see now, it's just a straight flight. We're just going to be going straight through. So we're sitting at 34,000. So I'm going to pause so that you guys don't have to sit and go through all this. And when we come back, hopefully we'll be starting our descent. Okay, we've just been asked to go down to 13,000 feet. Here we go. Okay, we're going down to 13,000. And we're starting our turn. This is where we're going to make our loop.
System 7907, please expedite your descent 13,000 feet. System 7907, you are 43 miles northwest. Descend and maintain 5,200 feet. Expect vectors IL.
Wow, they're bringing us down quickly. They want us down to 5,200.
Descend and maintain 5,200 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,200 feet. Expect vectors ILS Zulu runway 24 approach SASM 7907.
We're going down to 5,200 feet. quite a turn there that we're doing. Why has my...
Phantom 797 descend and maintain 4,600 feet.
Descend and maintain 4,600 feet.
I'm quite sure why my power lever's just suddenly shot down.
Phantom 797 descend and maintain 5,200 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,200 feet. SASM 797.
We're sitting at 20,000. They're trying to getting us down very quickly. I think they've left it a bit late, but let's see. I'm trying to do everything that the autopilot tells me. We have a quick look on the map.
Commercial 601 descend and maintain
You'll see that we are over here, Kranskop. We're going to be coming in this way, by the looks of it, and then turning here and then coming into the airport that way.
Descend and maintain 7,000 feet. Commercial 601.
We're down to 18,000. Clouds look amazing. A little bit of a heat stream coming off there from the engine. Oh, look at the flex on the wing there.
Phantom 797 descend and maintain 4,600 feet.
Oh, they want us down to 4,600. That's going to be fun.
Descend and maintain 4,600 feet. SASM 797.
Zoom in. It's going to be easier to work with.
Phantom 797 descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Oh, now it's 4,000 feet. Okay, we'll go down to
Descend
4.
and maintain 4,000 feet. SASM 797.
I've told it 4,000. We're still at 15, so we've got quite a way to go still. I love the look of those clouds. Literally can't get the plane to drop faster. Let's hope they haven't left us too late. According to this,
Phantom
we've got
797 descend and maintain 2,600 feet.
we've only got 55 nautical miles.
Descend and maintain 2,600
I think
feet.
they've left us
SASM
way
797.
too long.
Phantom 797 descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
How can I go from 2,600 to 4,000?
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. SASM
I'll leave it
797.
for a bit, we're nowhere near there. We're not even at 10 yet, so let's just leave it as it is and see
Commercial
how we get on.
601, you are 11 miles northwest. Descend and maintain 5,300 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 24 approach via Tango Golf Victor transition. Clear to Tango Golf Victor. Descend and maintain 5,300 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 24 approach via Tango Golf Victor transition. Clear to Tango Golf Victor.
Okay, I'm trying now to get it below 10,000. We really are battling. see the clouds. This is going to be interesting. Now, why is it wanting to stop at 10,000? Look at this. This is where the problems come in. Let's get out. Okay, let's get lights on. Seatbelt signs on. A long way to go still. Watching our speed. Just watching our speed as well.
Descend and maintain 3,400 feet, commercial 601. Commercial 601, contact Durban approach on 125.75. Good day.
Ladies and gentlemen from the cockpit, you may have noticed we've begun descending to our destination. We're not expecting any delays, so we should have you on the ground in the next 20 minutes or so. If you could assist the cabin crew by tidying your tray and handing them any litter as they come around, it would be most appreciated.
125.75, commercial
For safety
601.
reasons, please turn off all electronic devices or switch them to airplane mode until after we have landed. Please note the aircraft toilets are now out of use. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen from the cockpit, you may have noticed we've begun descending to our destination. We're not expecting any delays, so we should have you on the ground in the next 20 minutes or so.
Around 8,000. Just watching that speed. Still apparently 26 nautical miles, so we're going to be coming around here, coming this way. Once we get here we're on the final straight, so I want to make sure we have the right speed and right height.
797, you are 27 miles north of Foxtrot Alpha Lima Echo. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact tower on 118.45.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Tower on 118.45, SASM 7907. Tower SASM 79er, 726 miles north inbound ILS to the runway 24 approach. SASM 7907 tower. Altimeter tree 0.00, wind 215 and 24. Cleared ILS to the runway 24 approach. Cleared ILS Zulu runway 24 approach, SASM 7907.
Just watch where we're going to bring in the flaps. Let's go flaps 1. And there we go. Flaps are at 1. Let's put gear down. Full flaps. So we've got gear down, full flaps. Glide slope. Nautical miles seem to be a little high. Okay, we're coming in. Let's see. It's quite cloudy. I'm hoping we'll just pop under this cloud in a minute.
2,500.
See the airport now. Just trying to get it onto the glide slope. It's almost there. It's slowing down. And a bit of a crosswind. On the glide slope. Speed's 140. Let's do a cabin check.
Commercial 601 exit, runway with naval.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Here we go. Looks like it's lining us up nicely.
Commercial 601 exit, runway with naval.
500.
Just coming in nicely. Just keep it going.
400. 300.
There's only a bit of a flare here, or a blow, crosswind.
200.
Seems to be keeping it nicely.
797 go around.
I'm not going around, I'm landing.
Commercial 601 exit,
100.
runway with naval.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. Retard. Retard. Retard.
Falcon 797, did you hear my last transmission?
Well,
Commercial
be able to
601,
go off here.
turn next taxiway. Commercial 601, contact ground on 121.65.
Yeah. Major turn here. There we are. Just want to get off the runway.
Going to 121.65 commercial 601.
We can hold here. Now we can clean up the aircraft. I'm just going to bring it down. Okay, let's clean up the aircraft. We come up here and turn these lights off. It's fine. We can turn on our APU. On. Now, just see. The brake is off. Transponders. Over here. Turn that off now. Turn these off. That. And I think we're ready to taxi. Now we can turn off our flight directors. Okay, I think we are ready to taxi. There we go.
Ground SASM 7907 taxi to the gate. SASM 7907 taxi to gate 23 using taxiway Alpha. Commercial 6324 continue taxi. Taxiing to gate 23 using taxiway Alpha. SASM 7907.
Not quite sure which is gate 23, because I know they're not very well marked, so we'll just have to see when we come in.
Roger commercial 6324.
Ground commercial 5904 with Oscar ready to taxi IFR.
Commercial 5904 taxi to and hold short of runway 24 by taxiway Alpha cross runway 24 Alpha. Contact tower on 118.45 when ready.
We're still on Alpha, so I'm going to follow Alpha down to the next one.
Taxiing hold short runway 24 using taxiway Alpha cross runway 24 Alpha commercial 5904.
If we look from the outside,
Commercial 6324 hold position caution, other traffic. Commercial 601 hold position caution, other traffic.
get here now. Oh, these rudder pedals.
Hold position commercial 601.
Hold position commercial
We're going to be
6324.
turning here. Just slowing it down a
Commercial
little bit.
601, continue taxi.
And we're turning.
Roger commercial 601.
Looks like the Kalula flight has just come in. British Airways there as well. Not quite what that one's doing.
SASM 7907 hold position caution, other traffic.
Hold.
Hold position, SASM 7907.
Not sure what those two planes are doing there. I think I'm just going to go around this corner, because otherwise we might be stuck there for a while. Yeah, let's put some more power on again. And we just go around. Because I don't know what those two planes are doing there. Seem to have their own agenda.
Commercial 6324 continue taxi.
See that Kalula's parked there.
Commercial 6324 hold position caution, the Airbus A320 Neo on the taxiway. Commercial 6324 holds position caution, other traffic. Southbound 7907 continue taxi. Hold position Commercial 6324. Roger Spasm 7907.
Turn here. And turn. See if we can pull right up. And stop. Okay, stop there. Our brake on. Let's go back inside. Okay, that all looks good. Brake is on. It's done. Okay. That looks really, really good. Nice and steady. Go, coming down now. There's the runway. Right, we're at the gate. That was a nice, safe landing. It's actually very smooth. Very happy with that one. Let's get jetways and everything on. So what I'm hoping is to show you is if I use this aircraft, I'm hoping that if I put power, we'll bring our power in. I'm going to bring catering. It'll bring a catering truck in. Catering. See if we can get baggage here as well. And let's see if we can join the jetway. Okay, so now before we do disembark the passengers, let's turn off the engines. Okay, engines are off. I'm going to turn off the fuel. Well, let's say continue because we haven't finished yet. Let's turn off the fuel. Fuel is off. We'll turn off this one. And we can turn off that one. And we've got external power. Yeah, so we can turn off the APU now. APU can go off. APUs, let's zoom in a little bit, just show you. Turn off all the APUs. We can turn off our taxi lights. Let's turn all those off. Turn off all our other lights. And we can turn off our seatbelts. Okay, so hopefully now we can get our passengers to disembark.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit once again, due to the incident earlier, we'd like you to make way for the officers coming down the aisle before we continue with deboarding so that they can deal with the
Okay, there we go. Have a look, looks like everything is working. Well, I hope you enjoyed that flight. It was quite a smooth flight, a lovely landing. And there we go, we're in Kinshasa Airport. And thanks again for coming back and watching another flight from SA Sim Flight in Southern Africa. Thank you again and take care. Please remember to thumbs up and like this video. Thank you.